The Coaches Show is brought to you by Highway 55, Burgers, Shakes, and Fries, Nunboys.com, and GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com. Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Glenn Young. We're at Highway 55, Burgers, Shakes, and Fries, which brings you the Coaches Show, as well as GPS Photography and Video, 1080p HD, GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com, Nunboys.com, marketing, advertising, t-shirts. And I'm alongside head coach Quame Patterson, men's basketball coach. Coach, Tuesday night, tough loss against Pinecrest, double overtime. And wow, the close games, do they hurt more when you lose, or a loss is just a loss? Because, you've been in overtime, I want to say 4 times this year?
At least, yes.
Wow.
A loss is just a loss, unless it's a conference loss.
Yeah, so that adds a little spice to it.
And also to a top-end team in the conference.
Right.
If you lost to a lower-end team, then that's okay. Not okay, but you can swallow that a little bit easier than a top-tier team, which means you have to beat them another time. So
Iteration.
That was tough, especially losing by going into overtime with 0.8 seconds left on the clock.
Yes.
And mental breakdown with 0.8 seconds left.
Now, you had a turnover right at .08. They shot, they miss it. Wesley Baldwin, if he gets the ball out of bounds, it's over.
Right.
You're up 10 earlier in the game.
Okay.
And then they came back to go into overtime, end up beating you in double overtime. The flip side of that, when we were playing Richmond here at home, we went into double overtime, but you were behind most of the game. Do you think you have an advantage coming from behind and then going into overtime to win the game? Or is it a disadvantage if you've been up most of the game and then you go into overtime and lose it?
It's a good question. With us and our free throw shooting,
that was my next point.
I think it's probably best that we're down. So I think if we're up and people start following us early,
right,
hack a shack or whatever, start missing some free throws like we did, that could expose us.
Now, the thing about it, it seemed like you were out of the funk as far as the foul shooting. But then it seemed like it came back to haunt you again in the Pinecrest game.
Right.
How do you fix it, Coach? Can you fix it?
I think we've done a lot better as far as free throw shooting during the course of the game. Now we just have to get back to finishing games, hitting free throws.
It's not one certain player. Who has the best foul shooting percentage?
Actually, Wesley Baldwin hit some clutch free throws. He just missed the one.
Right.
And then Silas missed the one.
Yeah.
That really hurts you. As far as the best foul shooting percentage-wise, is probably Dakota Cummings as far as who shot the most with his percentage. Elijah Harris is also my technical free throw guy shooter.
Right.
But he hasn't shot that many.
Now, early on in the Pinecrest game, Wesley Baldwin was hot. He was hitting threes, and then, who were the other top performers in the game? Who was big off the bench? What went right? What went wrong? And obviously, we know what could have went better. But
I'm not making any excuses, but we had a couple of guys who, during the semester change, are taking weightlifting.
Right.
And that weightlifting class kind of beat them up. We had one of our starters who couldn't play after midway of the second quarter.
Okay, so timeout, Coach. So Coach Jorgensen's over the weight room. He teaches the weight room class. You're coaching basketball.
Right.
Are you saying you didn't say, hey, Coach Jay, my guys can't lift today, we got a game tonight? What's going on there?
I haven't spoken with him about it. I'm not trying to go behind his back, but I understand that. A lot of people, a lot of NBA guys who lift before the games, in fact.
Right.
But they've been doing that for 10 years.
But if they lift before the game, I would venture to say they're probably not lifting heavy.
Right. But those guys are used to it. These guys are 18 or less years of age, who first time really taking weightlifting seriously. And on that first night or first week or so, on a game night, I think they lifted a bit too hard. For them, maybe Coach Jorgensen didn't tell them to do that, but maybe they try to overcompensate.
Is it something that you're going to talk to Coach Jorgensen?
Yes, we're going to address that situation.
All right, I'm not going to push that any further. Other top performers during the game.
Top Deshaun George had a big game for. He had a pretty good game. Dakota Cummings helped us out a lot. Now our leading scorer Silas didn't score, but in the second half.
Yeah, it seemed like he had a slower game.
It is,
Norwood off the bench big, but at one point in the game it seemed like he shot too early, and you let him know that. So I mean, by calling timeout, was it just not the shot that you wanted to take at that point?
Correct. We have little things that we have with our team, and he knows that he's the defense first guy, and usually he feeds off his defense. It's been a recipe where he gets a couple of stops on defense, gets a couple of layups, and gets us going, and his shot goes in. But he's going to come off the bench and fire it up there. It really doesn't. I think he's a senior. He loves the lead and wanted to lead us, but we just couldn't afford that at that time.
I got you. Well, Coach, we're going to leave it there. When we come back, we're going to go into the Ask the Coach segment, and then we're going to talk about upcoming opponent Richmond here tomorrow night. Welcome back to the Coaches Show. I'm Glenn Young alongside head men's basketball coach Quame Patterson. And Coach, it's time for the Ask the Coach segment. Burning question came down last week, North Carolina High School Association, conference realignment, in which case it looked like that's going to happen. Now, it wouldn't be effective to 2017, but they're going to add Jack Britt and 71st to the SEC.
Wow.
How is that going to affect as far as basketball?
It's going to be great from an athletic director's point of view. Mm-hmm. They're two close teams who bring good crowds,
right,
and who are very competitive.
Definitely on the money side of things.
Yes.
What's the disadvantage?
Also, it will relieve a lot of the pressure of scheduling. We won't be tied to Cumberland County as much as far as feeling the pressure of we got to get these guys. We play them anyway, pretty much, so it doesn't matter. The plus side is making our conference stronger. That strength of schedule is really gonna, and I think max preps are gonna factor in strength of schedule and all that stuff. So that's gonna help us in the long run. But with that said, we have no pushovers coming.
I mean, definitely. I mean, these guys are stacked. We arguably had one of the best conferences in the state, and so now, as you said, it's going to be stronger. But I mean, how does this affect playoff seeding? Right now, they would take the top 3 to the playoffs.
Right.
Would that go down?
I believe so. In a bigger conference, I'm sure they'll take probably the top 5.
Wow.
In there, which doesn't say,
So actually, by adding more teams, you'll get more playoff seats, is what you said.
Right.
Okay, so that's a plus.
It's a plus for us because I feel like we're one of the top teams anyway in this area, so it's not going to affect us. But a team like who's been at the lower end, maybe a Purnell Sweat or something, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to beat all those higher echelon teams in order to get that spot.
And then you already played some of these teams out of conference, so now will you have less out of conference games? I think you had 23 games, so now it's going to be less.
Yes, sir.
Will you skate away from some of the tournaments during the holidays? Will you not play like the Martin Luther King tournament? Will that affect your strategy as well?
No, even though we played another conference game on that Tuesday, I feel like that Martin Luther King gives our kids a lot of exposure because a lot of college coaches go to there for a showcase, and it's a good thing for the kids to get away for like a jamboree type thing and play. And they set it up where you play someone different that you don't. Someone you haven't played in a while, or someone way out of your area.
Well, I tell you, I can't wait to ask this question to Coach Paris, because football, I mean, wow, it just went. What is going on out there in the word of Coach Lombardi? Because that's going to be something. I can't wait to talk to him. I hope to sit down with him soon before signing day as they get ready for spring practice. Shifting gears, Coach. Richmond, second time you're playing them. You get ready to start the second iteration throughout the conference. Is there a different strategy? We know that you said they switch out players every 2 minutes.
Right. Switch out 5 players every 2 minutes.
Wow.
They play about 15
So they
guys.
switch out their whole 5?
Whole 5.
Wow.
Every 2 minutes.
Winning the double overtime last time. You're playing down there. Tough when you go down to the Cedar Raiders. What are you telling your kids this week?
Just to stay focused. Our guys really have that goal of winning conference, and they feel like they can attain that. So we're taking this one game at a time, really focusing on how dangerous Richmond can be.
Right.
They can beat us by 30, or we can win by 30.
Right.
They're one of those teams, and I think they really take pride in trying to wearing you down. So we have to keep our mental focus. Even though I think they're still one of the top 5 teams in high school basketball, as far as scoring. And they take pride in that.
Yes.
So we want to
tough place to play, tough team to play.
Right.
It's just one of those things. I mean, Richmond County, what are you going to do? Richmond, Scotland, and now when you add these other teams, 71st and Jack Britt, man, SEC it's going to be one of the best conferences in the state, no question. Now, when you look at who has the best record in the conference, you're 3-2. Richmond is
3-2.
3-2. Scotland
is 4-1.
And then Pinecrest is 4-1. So I mean, you guys are 3-4 in the conference. Wins, you and Richmond being third and fourth.
Right.
Purnell Sweat bringing up the rear. I mean, you never know the second time around because it's always tougher to beat a team.
Right.
Is this a thing that you really focus now on one game at a time?
Oh, definitely. Because we feel like anyone can be anyone. Right. I think all the conference wins between everyone have been a very close victory or overtime victory. Right. Even I think Pinecrest beat Lumberton by 4, but outside of that, every other game has been tight. Lumberton lost to Scotland by 3 at the buzzer. I'm sorry, our Scotland game we lost by 11, but it really wasn't that much of a difference. I really feel we beat them the second time, but everything's been close, so we feel like anyone can beat anyone. So
Richmond Friday, and then Tuesday, Lumberton. So 2 away games, and then you're back home against Purnell Sweat?
Against, Scotland.
Friday. Well, wish you well, Coach. As always, thanks for sitting down and talking to me. I didn't really throw Coach Jorgensen under the bus, but I mean, it is what it is.
My guy.
You lifted weights before a game. I'm just saying. Thanks again. Once again, the Coaching Show is brought to you by Highway 55, Burger, Shakes, and Fries, GPS Photography and Video, 1080p HD, GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com, nunboys.com, marketing, advertising, t-shirts. Till next week, we'll sit down again, Coach. Good luck. Go get them.
I appreciate it.